Tony Stark may have been able to make his arc reactor in a cave with a box of scraps, but I was able to make mine with VCR player parts. What could be better? Let's get started. Alright, so the main thing you'll need for this arc reactor is a VHS player and the LEDs, which I'll have a link to in the description. I don't have a link to the VHS player because I don't really know what brand it was at all, and just like try and get lucky and take apart random VHS players. The one I had, it was also a DVD player, so you can look at those, but I believe any VHS player will have these kind of bodies in them, and this will also be in there, so you know, don't spend a lot of money on it, just take apart random stuff. Alright, I think that's it, so let's get to the video. Alright, so these are the two body pieces. You get these at like the VHS player. Yeah, and it'll normally like come together. It'll be as one with like a pin in it. You have to pound the pin out and just get the separate pieces, and you might have to break some stuff off. So you're gonna want to plan how you are gonna like put these together. So I have bolt here, bolt here. I did have to drill out like some holes, various holes for different things. So just 2 bolts is gonna hold it together. The other thing you'll have to do is drill out holes for the LEDs. I'm gonna be using 9 of them, so there's 8 around the outside, 1 in the center. So you just have to drill these evenly. Make sure you got the right billet size. Alright, so how this is going to work is each LED is going to go in here and then one in here. All the wires will be bent down, coming here, and this will be on top, and the wires will all come out here. So to power this, to light it all up, I'll be using these pre-wired LEDs with resistors already in them. They're for 9-volt battery, and you can get these off of eBay. I got a pack of 25 for $15, or you can pick up the pack of 10 for like $8. So for the LEDs, you want to like take the LED, bend the lead down, bend the wire up so it can sit in here just like that. And for the center LED, this brass thing should come in your 2 VCR parts. It'll probably be one of the things that helps hold it together, and it has a hole in it, so just like put a little bit of tape around the LED, put it in, and then this actually has like a screw here that you can just tighten, and that'll keep it tight, and that will sit right in the center. So I've bent all these LEDs, the fronts, and then you're also going to want to strip the ends, just so you have some longer leads to work with. Alright, so you just place all the LEDs in, and now I'm going to hot glue them so they stay in place. Alright, so you don't really need a lot of glue. I'm just going to put like a tiny bit right here. Alright, so all the LEDs are glued in, just a drop on each side, and it's looking pretty good. Alright, so now you're just gathering all your wires together and bringing this down. Alright, so everything fit pretty good, wires are out, and it's all tight, so, and I just put my bolts through, and now we're going to have to do some of the wiring. Alright, so basically what you're going to do for the wiring is gather all the positives together and all the negatives, and just twist them together, and then we're going to solder them. Alright, so actually what would recommend doing is tinning your wires with a solder. This will help to solder them all together. Alright, so I'd recommend just wrap like some tape around the ends to get the wires close together, and then twist them as best you can. If you tinned them, you probably won't be able to twist them that good, but just get them close enough together. Alright, so after you use a crap ton of solder, it should look like this. Along the way, you should probably be like testing sometimes, see if the lights are still working or if you screwed anything up. So if going good, then it should look something like this. Well, I went out in the garage stalking for some zip ties, and I found these big ones, but found these small ones. And you want to use the small ones just because big ones will, I don't know, you can use them if you want, but I'm going to use these small ones. Alright, so I added zip ties, and then I also have some heat shrink tubing from Radio Shack. Got it as the assorted heat shrink tubes. So then just use like one of the big ones. Alright, I don't have a heat gun, so I'm just gonna have to use a lighter to shrink this up. Alright, I finished shrinking that tubing, and then the zip tie helps keep it that it doesn't move around. And this is how it is so far. Alright, so now that the main body's done, we're gonna have to cut out something to diffuse the light that will go in here, and then we'll also have this. This is also found in the VHS player. Yeah, it'll come looking like this. And I did have to cut some of it out so that it would fit around here to set right there, and we'll also add something to diffuse this light. Alright, so it's actually starting to look like an arc reactor now, so just power it up and it's looking pretty good. We just gotta add some of this stuff. Alright, so for the first ring of to diffuse the light, we're going to be using, this is an ice cream container. It's like the big containers that you can get full of ice cream. So we're just going to cut it right out of the center here. Use the reactor to maybe measure, circle, however, and cut it out, and then you'll also be cutting out another hole. So I'm going to do. Alright, so I use an X-Acto knife and I finished cutting it out. This is my first one. It's a bit shabby. I did that a long time ago for another one, but so it's kind of like trial and error, so maybe do a couple and get one that's pretty nice. Since I've made like 2 of these in my entire lifetime, I'm pretty much a pro, so I'm qualified to give you a pro tip, which would be to cut out the center. Just get a coin that's got like the same size of what the center is, and draw around it and cut it out. Alright, so back to this part. As I said before, I had to cut some of this off to get it to fit. I'll have to do the same with this one, which is the one I'll be using for this. It's the same thing, I'm just using this for a different one. So I'm just going to take a Dremel cutting wheel, cut some of this off, and smooth it out with a grinding wheel. Alright, I finished cutting out the, just cutting it out to make it fit, and as you can see, here's the older one, here's the newer one. Again, a bit more shabby, but I'm practically pro now. Okay, so what we got so far is, we got the ring, and then this goes on here, and then I have 2 screws that I can put in here to hold this down. Okay, I've assembled it as said. There's the screws that hold this down and the diffuser underneath. And I also did add, this is another piece of the ice cream container, and since pro tips are reusable, I'm going to reuse mine and say I used a dime and traced that and cut it out and then trimmed it up with the scissors. Alright, so just apply power for reaction. There it is. So working pretty good. There is a couple things I have yet to do, but it's pretty good. Alright, one thing I have yet to do is the power pack. Now it obviously uses a 9-volt battery, so you can use a 9-volt clip and just plug it in, or you can make something a little more complicated, maybe have an on-off switch, however you want. I probably will just add a 9-volt clip right now, but later on I'll probably make like a little box for the battery to go on the end. Another cool thing that you might want to try is drilling like small holes in this round aluminum part and putting small neodymium magnets in, and then you wouldn't have to use these screws and this could just magnet on. That's something I possibly might do, but I probably won't do that for a while. Alright, so like I said, as of now, I'm going to 9-volt battery clip solder on, and then I'm going to talk about cosmetics. Alright, I put on a 9-volt clip, and the battery I just have taped to the power wires. So what I was saying about cosmetics was that you can add other stuff like the wire mesh stuff. I don't have any material like that right now, so I may add that later. I would probably add it here and underneath here, but yeah, so just add like tiny details, but there it is. Alright, so finished product, and one thing I would like to say about this is it's pretty cool, as this is like an all metal body and it doesn't feel cheap at all. And if you're wondering, the price I spent on this whole thing was about $8, but you probably don't need to spend any more money than $15. Alright, so be sure to give a thumbs up if you think deserving. Like, share, subscribe for more awesome. And I will be doing a remake of the wearable version of this. You can check out the original on my channel, but I've improved some stuff, and so you can stay tuned for that.